$1 billion a year. Stolen through love. And it could happen to anyone. A 79-year-old man in Toledo, Ohio, had just gone through a divorce. Then he got a text from a woman calling herself Lisa Love. She was kind. She listened. She made him feel like someone still cared. Over the next few months, she convinced him to invest in a gold trading scheme. By the time he realized the truth, he'd lost $125,000. His entire life savings, wired to an account in Vietnam. In Charlotte, North Carolina, an elderly woman lost over $600,000 to someone pretending to be Elon Musk. The scammer used artificial intelligence to clone Musk's voice, creating phone messages that sounded exactly like the real person. In San Francisco, romance scam losses nearly doubled in a single year, jumping from $22 million to over $40 million. Across America, consumers reported losing $1.16 billion to romance scams in just the first 9 months of 2025. More than $1 billion a year. Stolen not through hacking or identity theft, but through the most basic human vulnerability, the need to be loved. Every romance scam follows the same playbook. It starts with a fake identity. The scammer creates a profile using stolen photographs of attractive, trustworthy-looking people. Military personnel are the most popular choice because they provide a built-in excuse for never meeting in person. Doctors, engineers working on oil rigs, and entrepreneurs traveling overseas are also common personas. With AI-generated images now widely available, some scammers don't even need to steal photos anymore. They can generate faces that have never existed. Next comes contact. A friend request on Facebook, a like on Instagram, a match on Tinder or Bumble, or increasingly, a simple text message sent to the wrong number on purpose. Hey, are we still on for lunch? When you reply saying they have the wrong number, the conversation begins. Once contact is established, the scammer enters what psychologists call the love bombing phase. Good morning texts every single day, voice messages before bed, long conversations about hopes, dreams, fears, and family. The scammer mirrors everything about you. If you love dogs, they love dogs. If you recently lost a parent, they recently lost a parent too. Within weeks, sometimes days, they're declaring love, planning a future together, talking about marriage. This isn't accidental. The Federal Trade Commission has documented these patterns across thousands of cases. Scammers follow literal scripts. Training manuals recovered from criminal organizations include step-by-step instructions for how to build emotional dependency. When to compliment, when to share a vulnerability, when to say I love you for the first time, and critically, when to start isolating the victim from friends and family who might raise concerns. The aftermath of a romance scam goes far beyond the financial loss. Victims describe a grief that's almost impossible to explain. You're mourning a person who never existed, a future that was never real, but the emotions you felt were completely genuine. The FBI reports that multiple romance scam victims have taken their own lives. Others develop severe depression, anxiety disorders, and post-traumatic stress. Many never report the crime because the shame is overwhelming. They blame themselves. How could I be so stupid? The answer is, you weren't stupid. You were human. The scammer spent months, sometimes years, studying you, learning exactly what you needed to hear, building a version of the perfect partner designed specifically for you. In 2024, the FBI received 17,910 complaints of romance fraud. But experts estimate the actual number is 5 to 10 times higher because most victims never come forward. The real cost isn't just the billion reported each year. It's the thousands of lives quietly destroyed behind closed doors. The money request always comes with a crisis. A medical emergency for a family member. a problem with military deployment paperwork, a business deal that needs a short-term loan, customs fees to ship a valuable package, or the most common approach in 2025, an incredible investment opportunity. The scammer shares screenshots of their own supposed profits. They introduce the victim to a fake crypto trading platform where the numbers always go up. The FTC identified the top 5 lies romance scammers use. Number 1. I need money for a medical emergency. Number 2. I'm in the military overseas and need help. Number 3. I need help with customs or travel fees. Number 4. I have a great investment opportunity. Number 5. I need money to visit you. The method of payment matters too. Scammers specifically request cryptocurrency, gift cards, or wire transfers because these are nearly impossible to reverse. The reason romance scams work has nothing to do with intelligence. Victims include doctors, lawyers, professors, executives, and military officers. It works because of neurochemistry. When someone tells you they love you every day for 3 months, your brain releases oxytocin, the same bonding chemical released when a mother holds her newborn child. You form a genuine emotional attachment to someone who doesn't exist. By the time they ask for money, you're not making a financial decision. You're trying to help someone you love. Add to that the sunk cost fallacy. I've invested so much time and emotion into this relationship, it must be real. And the isolation. Scammers systematically cut victims off from skeptical friends and family. They say things like real love doesn't need outside opinions. By the time the victim realizes what's happening, they've often sent tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. So who's behind these scams? A significant portion of romance fraud originates from West Africa, primarily Nigeria and Ghana. In Nigeria, they're known as Yahoo Boys, a term that dates back to the early days of email fraud on Yahoo. Many are linked to organized crime groups called confraternities. One of the most notorious is the Black Axe, a criminal organization that began in Nigerian universities and now operates across multiple countries. In Ghana, they're called Sakawa Boys. They're generally less organized, but increasingly professionalized. Researchers have documented the rise of so-called hustle academies in West Africa. These are informal schools where experienced scammers train newcomers in the art of digital fraud. They teach everything from how to create convincing fake profiles to how to manipulate emotions to when to make the first money request. Some scammers justify their work as restitution for colonialism. They view their Western targets as descendants of colonizers, and they view themselves as simply reclaiming what was taken. Dating platforms are ground zero for romance scams, and the numbers are staggering. Facebook and Instagram are the most commonly reported platforms for initial contact, followed by dedicated dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, and Match. But the fastest growing vector is simple text messages. A wrong number text. A casual greeting sent to thousands of phone numbers at once. All it takes is one reply. Platforms are fighting back. In November 2024, Meta announced it had removed over 2 million accounts linked to scam operations. Tinder has introduced photo verification. Bumble uses AI to detect suspicious messaging patterns. But the scammers adapt faster than the platforms can respond. They create new accounts within hours. They use VPNs to mask their location. And the move to WhatsApp and Telegram takes the conversation off monitored platforms and into unmoderated territory where anything goes. The FBI has issued warnings that romance scams are evolving rapidly thanks to artificial intelligence. In 2024 and 2025, the agency documented a surge in AI-enhanced techniques. Scammers are using AI to generate realistic profile photos of people who don't exist. They're using voice cloning technology to create audio messages that sound like real people, even celebrities. The Charlotte case, where a woman lost over $600,000 to a fake Elon Musk, relied entirely on AI-generated voice messages. Deepfake video technology now allows scammers to conduct live video calls while appearing to be someone else entirely. And generative AI tools like ChatGPT are being used to write emotionally persuasive messages in perfect English, eliminating the grammatical errors that once helped victims spot scams. The technology is removing every traditional red flag that people relied on to protect themselves. Law enforcement faces enormous challenges prosecuting romance scams. The criminals are typically overseas, beyond the reach of local police. The money moves through cryptocurrency, making it nearly untraceable. And many victims are reluctant to testify because of embarrassment. But progress is being made. The FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center processed over 880,000 complaints in 2024, with total reported losses exceeding $6 billion across all fraud types. The Department of Justice has successfully prosecuted several major romance scam rings. In 2024, federal agents seized tens of millions in cryptocurrency connected to romance fraud operations in West Africa and Southeast Asia. The Secret Service's Global Investigative Operations Center works with international partners to track and freeze stolen funds. And Operation Level Up, which we covered in our pig butchering video, also identifies romance scam victims before they lose everything. But the fundamental problem remains. The scams are too profitable, too easy to execute, and too hard to prosecute at scale. For every ring that gets shut down, 10 more appear. Protecting yourself from romance scams requires understanding one uncomfortable truth. No one is immune. The person who thinks it could never happen to me is exactly the person it happens to. But there are specific warning signs the FBI recommends watching for. Never send money to someone you haven't met in person, regardless of the story they tell. Be suspicious if someone wants to move the conversation off a dating app and onto WhatsApp or Telegram. Reverse image search their photos. If they always have an excuse not to video chat, that's a red flag. If they claim to be a U.S. military member deployed overseas, verify through official channels. If they ever mention cryptocurrency investments, stop the conversation immediately. And perhaps most importantly, tell someone. Talk to a friend, a family member, a therapist. Scammers succeed because they isolate their victims. The moment you bring someone else into the conversation, the spell often breaks.